Fake out Cosmog, that's funny. It takes a Rocky Helmet chip, too, on both of their Pokemon. However, Koraidon U turns out. Hey, Cosmog did damage. There's no taking that away. Cosmog did damage. Now I burn the Sawsbuck. That might not be such a bad thing if it's like a flinch hacks kind of set. Episode 3, let's see what the wheel gives us this time. Still 60 legendary Pokemon remaining. Many possibilities. Gen 5? Gen 7? Alright, it's Cosmog. Well, Cosmog was surely coming eventually. Okay, let's go. For some reason, I'm hesitating on whether Shiny Cosmog is legal, but I think it must be, right? Just do a quick check. I used Shiny Solgaleo last time. Oh, okay. Apparently, Cosmog cannot be shiny. Don't know what that's about. Anyway, Cosmog does nothing. It gets 2 moves, Splash and Teleport. So this is where, I mean, I'll definitely bring Cosmog to a game at some point in this video. Don't want to be deceitful about what I'm building this team around, but I mean, it's basically a matter of trying to come up with the best 5 Pokemon team that I can from here, and I think probably that's just Shadow Rider balance stuff, right? So Shadow Rider, Rillaboom, Incineroar, Urshifu, Rapid Strike form, and Raging Bolt. I mean, or I could do Champao, but I think Raging Bolt is fine. I mean, I think that's the best I could do for a 5 Pokemon team with 1 restricted, because of course Cosmog is itself a restricted Pokemon on top of also not doing anything useful. Back when I had Cosmog in the Gen 7 Ubers version of this series that I did only for myself, I believe I gave it a Sticky Barb. The idea being that, well, the actual idea was that since that was 66 singles, I was bringing Cosmog to every single game. The only thing that it seemed useful for was the sacrifice switch in some positions. Obviously, Brig 6, Pick 4, even that's not really that useful, but I gave Cosmog the Sticky Barb because I wanted opponents to... Oh, no, I know what I did. I made Cosmog, like, level 5 so that opponents would have a harder time just setting up freely on it, and the Sticky Barb was so that it could do something still, right? Like, they could hit it and take that bit of damage. I guess that only works if the opponent doesn't have an item anyway, so let's give Cosmog a Rocky Helmet instead. I can switch it in on Surging Strikes. That's probably, like, the one vaguely useful thing it can do. Let's make its Terra type Stellar, because why not? And I think I'm just going to do Nasty Plot, Shadow Rider, and your basic sets on these other guys. So I'll go ahead and fill that in, and we'll cut to the final team. Yeah, so in the end, nothing too crazy here. I kind of just built it out like I would a pretty generic Reg G team for the ladder. So the one thing that might actually be useful that comes out of this maybe is I'll get a look at how some things need to be different in Reg I. I definitely have a suspicion that high horsepower is pretty valuable on Rillaboom right now, but I have gone with U-turns so that all 3 of Rillaboom, Incineroar, and Urshifu, and actually also this Raging Bolt set, can pivot around. So, I mean, I'll find out whether I really miss things like that, whether I want some different moves on Incineroar after I've largely spammed these same 4 moves in Reg G. On the ladder, but yeah, we're just gonna play some Shadow Rider stuff basically, and then like I said, I definitely will bring Cosmog at some point to a game. It might only be the last one. We'll see. I can't do the Cosmog video without bringing Cosmog. Okay, we got Lunala, Miraidon, Champao, Incineroar, Torkoal, and Braviary, interestingly. Lunala could have Wide Guard, although I say that a lot when I see a Lunala, and I don't think all that many of them actually run Wide Guard. At least in my experience so far. So surely I want Rillaboom for this matchup to change the terrain. I can also priority Grassy Glide into Lunala and break Shadow Shield. Rillaboom Incineroar might be a good lead here, actually. Keep the Calyrex in the back for now. Let's do Rillaboom, Incineroar, Raging Bolt, Calyrex. Almost clicked on Cosmog there. Although my opponent hasn't locked in yet, so I would still be able to cancel it, but that was a little scary for a second. funny that I got grown-up Cosmog last time, and now this time it's just a little baby Cosmog. Hey, I'm gonna go straight for a Grassy Glide into Lunala, and I can do Parting Shot in the Miraidon slot, or I can just knock off into Lunala. I think Lunala, I think it's doing one of three things here, right? Protect, Terra, or switch out. I'm gonna knock off into the Miraidon slot. I think Miraidon Volt switches out here, or regular switches out. And, you know, whatever switches in. Might be nice if it doesn't have its item. Parting Shot, there's definitely a case for as well, but we'll see how this goes. I don't know really what's going to happen here. Okay, they switch out to their Incineroar. I do get to break Shadow Shield, although with the grassy terrain... Is it just coming right back? I had the knockoff available into Lunala there. They just let me have that, but I didn't think they would, so I didn't go for it. That's unfortunate for me. I think here... So Rillaboom took a fair bit from that Moongeist beam. They have Fake Out Pressure on the board. I'm in a bit of an awkward spot, actually. I'm going to hard switch Rillaboom out to Raging Bolt, just because Rillaboom is not very valuable in this position. Hopefully Raging Bolt doesn't take a ton of damage. They let me knock off their Lunala again, but it doesn't do much. And they don't have an item? Oh, it was Electric Seed Lunala. I missed that until now. Okay, I see. That's why they're letting me click the knockoff into it. Even without Shadow Shield, it really didn't take too much from that. But now I have Raging Bolt in. I can Thunderbolt Lunala, surely. I could even consider Terra Electric. I'm not sure about that, though. I'm just going to Parting Shoot, I guess the Lunala slot as well. They knock off my Magnet, so that'll reduce my damage some. I get Parting Shot off, Lunala will have its damage reduced some, but who's coming in here? I'm really badly positioned against this Incineroar because I didn't bring my Urshifu. Incineroar's already moved this turn, though, so I could bring Calyrex in and aggressively go for the Terra Fairy. I don't love it in Trick Room, though. Let's go Rillaboom. And of course I don't have high horsepower. Moonlight! Okay, yeah, this Lunala wants to stick around for a while. And unfortunately it is getting to do that. I guess I'll attack Incineroar. If they let me. I mean, Knockoff won't KO, now that Raging Bolt doesn't have an item. But of course Lunala could attack. I'm just going to U-turn. I can't really be keeping Rillaboom on the field when they still have their Miraidon in the back. But yeah, I think they've got me. I don't know that I have a way to break through this. I'll just try to get more damage into the Incineroar slot. They switch it out to Braviary. Okay. That just drops to a Thunderbolt. We're not going to find out what it does. Because what it does is drop to a Thunderbolt. Yeah, I get Rillaboom... Excuse me, I get Rillaboom out, Incineroar back in. They might not bring their... Okay, don't know if that crit mattered. They might not bring their Miraidon in while Trick Room is still up. Now it's Incineroar. So my Rillaboom is taking an Intimidate now, and they have Fake Out Pressure on the board. I'm going to click Woodhammer into Lunala. They have multiple ways to stop it, but I really want to get through these Trick Room turns before I bring Calyrex in. I'm going to click Knockoff into Lunala as well. Just try to get whatever damage I can into that. Obviously, they can fake something out if they want. I am giving them terrain control by playing this way, but at least my Calyrex is faster than Miraidon, so it might still not be impossible. But I think this Lunala has pretty well gotten me. Yeah, Knockoff does 35. That's crazy. That is a double weakness. And they still have a Terra, right? So they could Terra their Lunala around the next Knockoff. I'm going to target a Woodhammer into it again. I think Rillaboom will be knocked out before I can execute the move, but I'm actually going to go for a knockoff into Miraidon. Never mind, they switch Incineroar back in, they get their Intimidate. They still don't Terra. They're just staring me down this whole game, and my nerve is breaking. Honestly, that's what's happening here. Okay, just keep attacking Lunala, I guess. Try to get Calyrex in without Trick Room on the field, but easier said than done. They do knock Rillaboom out here, so Calyrex is definitely coming in. I don't think I KO Lunala. Nope. That was doing 35 before the most recent Intimidate. They get Trick Room up just as I bring Calyrex in. Worst possible timing. And I'll just Terra Fairy and... I guess I'll protect this turn. Yeah. No, because they're going to Moonlight. So I'm going to Terra Fairy, try to take advantage of a passive turn from the Lunala, and just click Astral Barrage and knock off into Lunala. Terra Water. Oh, they finally Terra, huh? But I actually get the KO with Incineroar. So I guess I could have protected Calyrex this turn. I guess it doesn't make a huge difference, although that knockoff still did a fair bit. But now they get their Miraidon in 3 turns of Trick Room remaining, so that's not the worst thing for me, right? I'm going to Fairy Terra Blast Miraidon, and... I mean, I guess I just get what damage I can here. Knock off Miraidon as well. But actually, the Lunala going down there might have gotten me back into this game. It's a good thing my Incineroar is slow. But theirs is slower, I guess. They just Flare Blitz and remove my Calyrex, and I'm not back in the game after all. I guess Miraidon was always going to be slower than Calyrex anyway. Yeah, that Electric Seed Lunala really broke my brain. I could not believe that was taking 35% from knockoff. That's an interesting tech from that opponent for sure. But let's go ahead and get another game. Maybe if the wheel picks Lunala, I'll keep that in mind. This person's a Hitmonchan. Dialga, Regidrago, Dusclops, Hitmonchan, Tornadus, Ice Rider, Calyrex, and a Spectator joining at turn 0. So this looks like Hard Trick Room. Well, no, it doesn't look like Hard Trick Room. They have Tailwind, and they could play Regidrago in either Trick Room or Tailwind. Same goes for the Ice Rider. It does not look like Hard Trick Room. Never mind. It looks like Tail Room. What do I do about that? I kind of like Incineroar Raging Bolt lead. I can knock off into their big attacker, or Fake Out, or Will-O-Wisp if it's Calyrex. And if they lead the Tornadus, I can just attack. I think I meant to put Snarl on this Raging Bolt, but I didn't. But yeah, I think that's okay. Calyrex and Rillaboom's really not that good here, right? It kind of hard loses to both of their restricteds in the Torn, so I'll bring Urshifu. But Urshifu really doesn't want to play in Trick Room. And it might have to, as we see Hitmonchan and Dusclops here. Hitmonchan gets Fake Out, so I might want to just Terra Ghost Incineroar immediately. If I can actually get a knockoff into Dusclops. That's still not going to deny the Trick Room, right? But I think that's the most obvious thing for them to try to do to stop me. And I'll just go for a Thunderbolt into Dusclops as well. They Fake Out the Raging Bolt, so I get that wrong. We do some damage, and we remove the Eviolite, but they do get their Trick Room up. I think I'm just going to switch Incineroar out to Urshifu and preserve the Intimidates and stuff for later. And I'll go for Thunderbolt into Dusclops. I still want to remove that Pokemon if I can. They might switch it out. And I don't know what Hitmonchan does from here. Pain Split into Urshifu, okay. Taunt Raging Bolt, that's fine. I'm just going to double into the Dusclops slot. Even if it protects, the Surging Strikes will still go through that. They're just chipping me down with Pain Split. They just Hitmonchan just rips a close combat into Raging Bolt. Dusclops will finally go down here. Hopefully that was worth all the investment. There's Regidrago. So they can throw off a big Dragon Energy. I don't have a whole lot for that. Don't have much for that at all. I can Thunderclap Regidrago to chip it. I was kind of wanting to Thunderclap Hitmonchan. Now that's lowered to special defense, but I think I'm going to target Surging Strikes into Hitmonchan and Thunderclap into Regidrago. That'll at least weaken a Dragon Energy, and it still gets 2 KOs. And there's still 1 turn of Trick Room left to get through. Of course, I can protect my Calyrex here. I cannot protect my Incineroar. So what I'm going to do is just fake out Regidrago. It could have a Covert Cloak or Terra Ghost, but I think Terra Ghost would be pretty reasonable. They did run that in Reg G. But this is, I think, my best shot to preserve Incineroar through this turn. You know what? I think I need to be more aggressive. I'm going to click Astral Barrage and fake out into Regidrago. Okay, Regidrago protects. I just don't think I can be having passive turns like this when I'm so far behind. Okay, we knock Hitmonchan down to a Focus Sash. Yeah, that means the next Astral Barrage knocks Hitmonchan out if it stays in. And Incineroar's taunted, so I'll just go for knockoff into Regidrago. Big damage, but perhaps not big enough. But knockoff goes next. That is a slow Regidrago. Oh, Power Anklet. Yeah, that is a super slow Regidrago meant to play in Trick Room, but once Trick Room expires, that's of course disadvantageous to it. They still have their Terra available, but Ice Rider doesn't generally run a Terra that... most Ice Rider Terra types are neutral to Ghost, so it should still take a lot. Oh, never mind, Terra Dark. Okay, hadn't seen that one before. Yeah, I don't have good coverage into that, do I? It's Assault Vest, wow. A lot of bulky stuff on the ladder right now. Super interesting. Is it better to click Astral Barrage or Terra Blast here? I think with Stab, Astral Barrage is at least similar in power, right? It's too bad I don't have the Terra Fairy available. I'm actually going to protect Calyrex this turn. Incineroar can take one more single target Glacial Lance and get a little bit more chip on this. I guess if they set up Trick Room then... But they don't. Oh, it's Assault Vest. They don't have Trick Room on it. I might be able to win if I land a Will-O-Wisp here. Astral Barrage, Will-O-Wisp. Yeah, Astral Barrage, one more of those will KO. We do land the Will-O-Wisp. Does my Calyrex survive the Glacial Lance now? It does. Okay, yeah, that should win then. Nice. Yeah, they forfeit. Look at this horse showdown in the end game here. Both wearing each other down pretty nicely, but mine is faster, and that means it will attack first and win. That was an interesting game. A lot of weird bulky text so far on the ladder, and it's hard for me to deal with when I only have one good restricted. When I only have one restricted that can really do anything. But that's the nature of the video. Okay, Shadow Rider, Koraidon, Incineroar, Chien-Pao, Chi-Yu. Literally 3 dark types when I've brought my Shadow Rider stuff. And Whimsicott. So I want Urshifu here. Don't necessarily want to lead with it, but I do want to bring it. How do I beat Koraidon? I have not the foggiest idea. I think I lead Calyrex and just play aggressively if I see it and hope it works out. And I'll lead it with Incineroar. That can intimidate Koraidon if it doesn't have a clear amulet. It can intimidate Chien-Pao. It can take a hit from Shadow Rider. It can even fake something out, maybe. Definitely bring Urshifu in the back, and I think I'm feeling Raging Bolt last. Rillaboom, Priority, Grassy Glide might be useful in some positions into this team, but then it kind of just hard loses to a lot of their team as well. I'll bring Raging Bolt. I still have Priority available with that Pokemon. Alright, it's Shadow Rider, Whimsicott lead, so they can Tailwind Astral Barrage, and I can't Tailwind back. What I can do, like I said, I think I just play the Shadow Rider aggressively this game. I can Terra Fairy, Astral Barrage. And I can Parting Shot, I guess. Okay, they did not just rip off an attack. Well, I guess they're going to probably Terra now to take advantage of their Tailwind. And we'll find out what its Terra type is. I think I can protect my Calyrex here, actually. Kill a turn of Tailwind and go again for the Parting Shot into their Calyrex. Switch out to Chi-Yu. And it's Terra Normal, so it's immune to my Astral Barrage. Okay, good to know. They Nasty Plot. So unfortunately, they are still going to be +1 after this Parting Shot. I'll get Raging Bolt here, though. And of course, their own Chi-Yu is also lowering their Calyrex's special defense. I mean, I still probably lose a Pokemon or two here, but I'm just going to Terra Blast and Thunderclap into their Calyrex. They protect it. This gives Chi-Yu a free chance to attack, unfortunately, and it goes for Snarl. Yeah. I'm going to make the same play again, but I'm definitely in danger here. The Snarl there offsets the Beads of Ruin into them, but they still have Beads of Ruin into me. And they do just get 2 KOs there. Yeah, alright. Shadow Rider versus Shadow Rider, when they also have a whole other restricted Pokemon, is pretty hard to deal with. Maybe I needed to be looking for a way to pivot Urshifu in, although I don't know when that was, when I thought they were just going to knock my stuff out with Astral Barrage every turn there. I think I can lock into Surging Strikes. I don't know if I want to lock into Surging Strikes. They've already used their Terra, so they can't Ghost Terra this or this. This resists Surging Strikes. This resists both of Urshifu's attacks. I'm going to go ahead and lock into Close Combat and fake out Chi-Yu. Okay, they switch in Koraidon on the Close Combat. And Whimsicott on the fake out. Yeah, I mean, Urshifu is not sweeping this with Close Combat, but maybe I can get a KO. Probably not, because they just set Tailwind back up here, right? Yeah, it turns out it's pretty hard to play Reg-I with one restricted. But I've also seen some really interesting creative techs on the ladder today, so I definitely like that. Ooh, they went Helping Hand. I actually get 2 KOs here, as they didn't set Tailwind, so Scarf Urshifu went before their Koraidon. And that means they have Chi-Yu and Calyrex in the back. And you know what? I'm going to call that the Calyrex protects here, because they've been doing that a lot. I don't really think they have any reason to protect, but they've been doing that a lot, and I think it's my only out. I'll go for a knockoff into Calyrex as well. Oh, it's Sash Chi-Yu. If I doubled into it, I'd probably still lose because they just attack here. Yeah, Psychic and Heat Wave. Okay. Oh, but I actually knock out the Calyrex, and I don't think the Chi-Yu knocks out the Incineroar. All that grumbling, and I think I actually win this game. Alright, Incineroar showing why it's the GOAT. They just didn't have enough damage into it with the 2 Pokemon that they had left after they... I guess they must just have thought that it wasn't Scarf Urshifu, but yeah, they just let me have their Koraidon there. And it turned out they actually needed that to beat Incineroar. That's a funny outcome to that game. What I said is still true, though. It is tough in this format with one playable restricted Pokemon. And now they hear this opponent has a Zamazenta, so they probably do have Wide Guard. They also have Kilowattrel and Walking Wake. This is a really interesting rain team. And the second Dusclops for today. This ladder is something else. You love to see it. You really do. How do I ever beat a Zamazenta? Well, okay, I can take advantage of their rain, right, with my Urshifu. It's easier said than done when they have a Moongus and Walking Wake, but I can try. I think I want to lead some combination of Rillaboom, Urshifu, and Raging Bolt. I think Rillaboom, Raging Bolt lead is okay here. And Calyrex, Urshifu in the back. Or their Tailwind setter doesn't have priority. I can just lead Calyrex and I can just click Astral Barrage in most positions. Not so much if it's Zamazenta. Well, now I kind of want to bring everything, right? Because it would be nice to have Incineroar for the Zamazenta. But then Incineroar kind of just folds to Kyogre and Walking Wake. So maybe my Zamazenta answer is just big special damage from Calyrex and Raging Bolt. Okay, I'm going to lead Calyrex. Rillaboom with Urshifu and Raging Bolt in the back. They lead Zamazenta Amoonguss. That's probably the last thing I wanted to see. But what can you do? Yeah. I really don't have a good answer to the Amoonguss right now. I'm just going to Nasty Plot and fake out Amoonguss. And the idea here is to try to get enough damage to threaten Amoonguss before I can start putting my stuff to sleep. They can ruin that with Wide Guard unless I click normal Terra Blast into Amoonguss. I mean, I guess that's an option. I don't know that KOs at +2. But yeah, Terra Blast U-turn into Amoonguss next turn. I think it's a real possibility. Normal Terra Blast, because of course if I Terra Fairy, then the Terra Blast will do less to Amoonguss. Okay, they show Wide Guard turn 1. That's good information. I think it's gonna be Terra Blast U-turn into Amoonguss. I really do. Let's do it. I don't want Calyrex to take a nap. Yeah, they're just clicking that wide guard. Oh, that does not do as much as I hoped. At +2. Also, what am I bringing in? I guess I'm bringing in Raging Bolt. Yeah, Calyrex takes a nap. Alright, I'll click Astral Barrage, and I'll click... Do I have to click Draco Meteor into Amoonguss, or can I just knock it out with Thunderbolt here? Considering how well it took that Terra Blast, I'm just gonna go for Draco Meteor. They also can switch it out, but if Draco Meteor catches something on the switch, that actually could be very good for me. Yeah, I'm not mad at getting damage into Kyogre. Behemoth Bash Calyrex. This looks like a 3-hit KO, so Calyrex might get a chance to wake up. We crit the Kyogre with Draco Meteor. That I like a lot. Even though I'm at reduced special attack, I might just go for a Thunderclap into it. I think it's probably better to switch out to Rillaboom, though. I'll just click Astral Barrage. Rillaboom. I don't think they click Wide Guard when they're trying to get rid of Calyrex before it wakes up. They pivot back out to Amoonguss, and Astral Barrage here could be huge, but Calyrex stays asleep. Takes another Behemoth Bash. If I get max sleep turns, then Calyrex doesn't get to do anything more this game. Actually, that's not necessarily true, because I can fake out Zamazenta this turn. They might want to go back to Wide Guard, though, at this point, as Calyrex is guaranteed at least almost out of sleep turns. Yeah, Wide Guard. Okay, they got me with that. Calyrex stays asleep anyway. They just click another Spore into it. How much did Terra Blast do? Not enough, right? It was like 40-something? Yeah, 46. Yeah, so I'm not threatening a KO into Amoonguss here. I guess I just protect Calyrex. It will wake up this turn, and I hard switch out to Raging Bolt. They go Behemoth Bash. I'm just gonna Terra Blast and do I Astral Barrage? They can knock Calyrex out. So here's the problem. They can knock Calyrex out with Behemoth Bash. If I Astral Barrage, I get big damage into both their Pokemon, and they click Behemoth Bash. But if I Astral Barrage and they Wide Guard, then I get no damage, and I don't think Draco Meteor knocks out Amoonguss, so Calyrex goes back to sleep. You know, I'm gonna do it anyway. It's the cooler play, if nothing else. Yeah, they Wide Guard. Okay. Terra Blast, Draco Meteor would have been great there. Draco Meteor gets kind of close to KOing anyway. They actually just knock Calyrex out with Foul Play on the Amoonguss. And I think I just lose now. I don't have good answers to Amoonguss. I guess I'll Urshifu, U-turn, Draco Meteor. I've just wasted this whole game trying to get rid of this Amoonguss. And I still haven't done it. Terra Blast, Draco Meteor would have been great there. Would have gotten rid of Amoonguss. Zamazenta clicked Wide Guard, so it wouldn't have done any damage, and then Calyrex would be positioned to actually, you know, do things in this game. But I got greedy. I got blinded by the dazzling, ghostly lights of Astral Barrage. Kyogre's here. I'm just going to Grassy Glide it, and I'm going to pivot Raging Bolt out. Reset the special attack drops. Might still be possible to win this game with Raging Bolt, especially since I never used my Terra on Calyrex. Of course, they haven't used their Terra either, so I don't know that this Grassy Glide is going to knock out this Kyogre, but they actually do just let it do that. Works for me. I get rain-boosted Surging Strikes now, too. Walking Wake is last. I mean, I guess I'll just Grassy Glide that and Surging Strike Zamazenta. Try to get the chip that I need to win with Raging Bolt. Paragrass Zamazenta, okay. That probably just lose to that. Because of course that'll resist the Surging Strikes and then also the Thunderclap or Thunderbolt from Raging Bolt. Surging Strike still did a fair bit with that Rain boost. Walking Wake at 60%. I don't know that I can just Thunderclap through that, but I mean, I think my play here is Terra Electric, Thunderclap. Cross my fingers. And I'll Surging Strike into that slot as well, just in case. Yeah, okay, Thunderclap KOs, nice, okay. Get some more damage onto Zamazenta. What does Zamazenta do here? If they take the KO in Urshifu, yeah. Then I just need Raging Bolt to take a hit and KO with Draco Meteor, right? So unhappy though I was to see the Terra Grass. Yeah, it still works out just fine in the end. Raging Bolt does hold up nicely as a late game win con. Very good. Shadow Rider, Terrapagos, Rillaboom, Incineroar, Hearthflame Mask, Ogerpon, and Urshifu, probably Rapid Strike form. So, pretty similar teams, except they have Terrapagos instead of Cosmog, which kind of feels like cheating. I mean, Incineroar is a really strong lead here. I'm not sure what I want to lead with it. If I had Snarl on my Raging Bolt, that would be good into both of their restricteds, but I don't. I could do Incineroar Rillaboom or Incineroar Calyrex. I definitely need to bring Urshifu to this game, because otherwise I'd probably just lose to Terrapagos. Let's do Incineroar Rillaboom, Calyrex, Urshifu. Okay, they lead Terrapagos, Rillaboom. They can knock off... Nope, I can knock off. They can fake out. I'm gonna try to get a knockoff into Terrapagos and a fake out. They just protect it, actually. What's Rillaboom doing? U-turn, okay. Who's coming in? Incineroar. Fair enough. Does this change anything? Well, yeah, but I still want to knock off their Terrapagos if I can, and I still want to break Terra Shell. Once again, they have fake out pressure. I think they're probably going to fake out my Incineroar, and that'll make me kind of sad. I did consider the Terra Ghost, but I'm not sure it's the best use of my Terra in this game. So let's see if they let me have this knockoff without it. Do not. Do break Terra Shell at least. Go Calm Mind, of course. They're probably leftovers then, so the Terra Shell's coming right back. Yeah. Okay. Let me have this knockoff. I'm trying to think about whether I can safely switch something in, but I really don't see a way. Still kind of stuck here. We'll see. Terrapagos gets a +2. They Parting Shoot into Rillaboom, so Rillaboom is really not doing much damage at this point. Get their Rillaboom back in. I do finally get a knockoff into Terrapagos. So the Terra Shell is not coming back, but at +2 I don't think it cares that much. I guess I'll click Parting Shot into Terrapagos now. And that's the way that I can pivot Urshifu in. If Incineroar even survives this Terra Starstorm, not that I think it will. It gets faked out anyway. It does survive. But I have so little damage back. I guess I needed to U-turn with Rillaboom there. That way I could have pivoted Urshifu into one slot or the other, right? Just as they turned off the grassy terrain. Because Urshifu is so threatened by their Rillaboom, unfortunately. They're not going to let me have this Will-O-Wisp, but I can try. Yeah, I've just not played this one right. Or, well, yeah, I've not played this one right, and the matchup is bad. Let's go with that. Yeah, I don't even get a burn into anything there. I do get Urshifu. I don't get Urshifu in because I can just fake it out. I guess I have to do it anyway and hope that they misclick and fake out their own Terrapagos or something. Parting Shot. Close Combat. They switch Incineroar out, actually, so they are going to let me close combat the Terrapagos. Why did they do that? I don't know, but I thought I was just going to lose to that Pokemon. Instead, it drops there. Get a Parting Shot into their Rillaboom. Now my Calyrex is forced in, but its biggest threat is off the board. I mean, they do still have Incineroar, but I haven't used my Terra yet. here, I think I'm just going to protect Calyrex and switch my Incineroar in, get an Intimidate into their Pokemon. And yeah, Terrapago's going down. I don't know why they let me do that, but that changes the game quite a bit here. Okay, I can fake something out. They've already Terra'd. I think I'm down to Terra Fairy, Nasty Plot. What did I just do? Nasty Plot, fake out Rillaboom. That way I'll resist a knockoff from Incineroar. I should be able to get my setup here. Yep, they do knock off for not very much damage. And now I can click Astral Barrage and Parting Shot. This won't do a ton to Incineroar, but I get Urshifu back in to threaten that. Their last is their Shadow Rider. I do land a Parting Shot into that immediately. Now they Parting Shot my Calyrex as well, but after the Nasty Plot, it's still at +1 special attack. It can be faked out now. And I can actually switch Rillaboom right back in. Sorry, Incineroar right back in to intimidate the Rillaboom. But yeah, I'll just protect my Calyrex on what feels like an obvious fake out. I guess they can click Nasty Plot if they have it. But they just Psychic into Incineroar, which is fine. I get a pretty free Astral Barrage here. And I'll knock off into their Calyrex to cover for a Focus Sash. They go Incineroar. Got a mirror on the field here. They protect their Calyrex. Fair enough. I'll cover for a Fake Out. And again, I just want to break a Focus Sash if they have it. This has been a completely different game since Terrapagos went down. I guess it's hard when you go to all that trouble to set up 2 Calm Minds and burn your Terra Shell and everything, and they, oh, it's Life Orb, so the knockoff just KOs. Nice, they forfeit. It's hard to even contemplate throwing away those boosts, but anyway. Miraidon, Ice Rider, Iron Hands for Farigiraf, Whimsicott, and Hearthflame Mask Ogerpon. This is a scary team. But who wants to take an Astral Barrage on this team? Other than Farigiraf. I guess Farigiraf is fine with it. Let's just do this. Okay, Calyrex, Rillaboom, Miraidon, Farigiraf. Yeah, saw that one coming. Part of me wants to just Terra Fairy, Terra Blast, Miraidon immediately. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to file that one under It's Cool if it works. So let's just do it. And I'll U-turn Farigiraf. Chip. Ooh, doesn't quite KO. Big damage, though. There's their Ice Rider. They're going to get Trick Room up here. Not really anything I can do about that. I'll pivot out to Incineroar. Yeah. And I guess I'll just protect, kill a turn of Trick Room, and go for Will-O-Wisp into their Calyrex. They switch Miraidon back in. I mean, I can click Knockoff into that next turn. Incineroar will definitely be slower. They also let me have this Will-O-Wisp, which is huge. Yeah, I think it's actually pretty safe to just Astral Barrage and Knockoff here. If they let me knock out Miraidon, then I think I probably survive the Glacial Lance now that their Calyrex is burned, and I get the single target Astral Barrage. Yeah. And after burn, I don't get Grim Neigh from that, but after burn damage, both of their restricted Pokemon are gone. They get Iron Hands in, Iron Hands and Farigiraf for their last 2. I can protect Calyrex this turn. I think I don't want to sack Incineroar because I can intimidate Iron Hands if I bring it back in, so I'll go Rillaboom here. Turns off their Quark Drive boost. And I guess I'll preserve Calyrex, so I'll switch that out to Incineroar. Trick Room is about to end. I'll go for a big Wood Hammer into this Farigiraf. Yep, get an Intimidate into Iron Hands. Nice. Psychic Noise doing nothing, of course, from Incineroar. Trick Room ends here. I think Rillaboom should be the fastest Pokemon on the field, right? So I'll go for Will-O-Wisp into Iron Hands and Wood Hammer into Farigiraf. Try to deny another Trick Room. Oh, they Terra Water. That was not helpful to them here. Burn Iron Hands, and that's game. And you know what? That Fairy Terra Blast into Miraidon on turn 1 actually did set up the win there, because it did so much damage that Incineroar could very comfortably click Knock Off to get the KO under Trick Room. And then I got that single target Astral Barrage into their Calyrex. Got rid of both their restricted Pokemon on the same turn. Miraidon, Zamazenta, Incineroar, Rillaboom, Urshifu, and Grimmsnarl. Scary, scary stuff. No doubt about it. Very hard to deal with. I'm going to Calyrex, Urshifu, Raging Bolt, Rillaboom. I'm anticipating something like a Zamazenta Grimmsnarl lead. It's Incineroar Grimmsnarl, so not quite. Protect and Surging Strikes. Paragrass Incineroar immediately, okay. Thunderwave Grimmsnarl, good to know. What's Incineroar going for? Knock Off into Calyrex, okay. Let's just go Raging Bolt here. It doesn't care about a Thunder Wave. And let's just Surging Strike the Grimmsnarl. Okay, Light Screen. Parting Shot into Raging Bolt. Not ideal, but okay. Who's coming in? They seem to be taking their time to figure that one out. Miraidon, okay. I'm not as bothered about preserving Urshifu now that the Incineroar is into Dark type. It could mean that they blow me up with Zamazenta in the back, but yeah, I'm going to pivot Rillaboom into this slot and just Surging Strike Grimmsnarl again. There's probably nobody that wants to switch in on that, unless I didn't bring Zamazenta. Thunderwave, Urshifu. Okay, so they'll knock it out with Volt Switch there. Fair enough. Get their Incineroar in, they get an Intimidate. Can I just go Calyrex, Terra Fairy, Astral Barrage here? Or Fairy Terra Blast into Grimmsnarl is maybe a little safer. They Thunderwave it. Okay, I didn't think that all the way through. But I was in a tough spot anyway, I think. Yeah, now my Calyrex will be slower than Miraidon. If that's what they're bringing in here. Well, it's slower either way, but we'll see whether that's what they're bringing in here. Nope, Zamazenta, okay. That can Steel Attack my Calyrex, so fair enough. However, what it can't do is Steel Attack and Wide Guard at the same time, so I'm going to click Thunderbolt and Astral Barrage. And they just knocked me out with a Behemoth Bash. Okay. Well, that's how it goes sometimes. I can't get rid of the parting shot drop. They get me right on in. I changed the terrain right back, but Rillaboom is never beating these two Pokemon, especially since, say it with me, I don't have high horsepower. Should probably have high horsepower, huh? Feels like high horsepower is probably pretty useful in this format. Oh well. Live and learn. GG. Delta Helix Infinite. And I believe that's the second loss of the video, and so before we wrap up here, I did promise that I would bring Cosmog to at least one game. I'm going to keep playing until I lose one more, and I'm going to bring Cosmog every time. So probably one more game, realistically. Koraidon, Shadow Rider, Tornadus, Walking Wake, Incineroar, Sawsbuck, and they rejected open team sheets immediately. I don't know if there's something especially tricky here. It looks to me like a Sun team with Sawsbuck, but Sawsbuck is Chlorophyll. I guess if you're running Sawsbuck and Tailwind, you could be doing Serene Grace Headbutt stuff, but you know, we'll use Cosmog to scout that out. It does actually put a lot of pressure on this team to have to bring Cosmog because this is such a well-balanced core, and already there are a lot of games where I want to bring all 5 of them. Now I only get to bring 3? Well, we'll do what we can. Koraidon, Incineroar lead against Cosmog and my Incineroar. Their Incineroar is faster, or it's a speed tie. Clear Amulet on Koraidon, not great. I'm just going to click Teleport. And I'm going to go straight for a Will-O-Wisp into Koraidon. I don't think a Terrafire is in this position. Fake out Cosmog, that's funny. It takes a Rocky Helmet chip, too, on both of their Pokemon. However, Koraidon U-turns out. Hey, Cosmog did damage. There's no taking that away. Cosmog did damage. Now I burn the Sawsbuck. That might not be such a bad thing if it's like a flinch hacks kind of set. Go Raging Bolt here because I've used my Terra, so my Shadow Rider is afraid of their Incineroar. Hopefully they let me get damage into it here. And I'm just going to knock off the Sawsbuck slot. They go Headbutt into Raging Bolt. It's flinch stuff, isn't it? Yeah. And there's a flinch. And a Parting Shot into Raging Bolt. They get their Shadow Rider in. Let's see what the Sawsbuck's item is. Try Scarf. Yeah, okay. Scarf, Headbutt, Serene Grace. They're not running Chlorophyll. They have Tailwind and the Scarf. That's funny. I respect it. I'm just going to Volt Switch and knock off into their Calyrex. Maybe I need to be trying harder to remove Sawsbuck, but given that I'm pretty sure I know its ability now, I'm not as afraid of it without the Scarf. Also, it can't Headbutt Incineroar. But it can still Headbutt Raging Bolt. Anyway. Incineroar's a Ghost type now, so Astral Barrage just knocks it out. And Raging Bolt flinches. Okay, Shadow Rider Calyrex, it's all on you now. You need to win this speed tie if it is one. You're at max speed, so at worst it's a speed tie. I'll try to help you with some chip here. Oh, no. Sawsbuck is immune to Astral Barrage. Thunderclap it. Alright, Shadow Rider Calyrex. I need you to win this speed tie if that's what it is. It's a Protect on the Calyrex. What's Sawsbuck going for? Is it doing something to my Calyrex? Yes, Bulldoze. It's probably not a speed tie anymore. Alright, you know what? You can't be bad. That is an awesome Sawsbuck set. That is so funny. What am I thunderclapping? Sawsbuck. Alright, Shadow Rider Calyrex, your Focus Sash is not even intact anymore. I need you to still be faster. I need them to not have max speed. That's the only out. They also have Terra Dark, so never mind. They just completely got me with that Sawsbuck, which is awesome to see. Sawsbuck is a cool Pokemon that does not get much attention in competitive play. That was a really funny set that they brought in a really funny game. And you know what? Premise of the video delivered on, because not only did I bring Cosmog to this game, it actually did damage to 2 of the opponent's Pokemon. I might be the only person you've ever seen do damage twice in a single game with Cosmog. So we're going to call this video a success. I had a lot of fun recording it. I'll probably be thinking about that Sawsbuck later today. But anyway, who knows what the wheel will give me next time. Maybe it gives me Cosmo M, or maybe it gives me a legendary that can do a little bit more, but we'll just have to wait and see.